Hello all, and this is something I haven't done in a while. Actual voiceover for a video. We're doing my first Mythic plus 10 in Midnight. And yeah, I was just here at the entrance. I went out of the game because someone in the chat asked to help summon just as I entered the portal. And of course when they get outside, they're done summoning, which is funny. Anyway, I'm playing Retribution Paladin here, about 260 item level. If anyone's ever seen my old stuff, I was Prot Paladin, but for pugs, hell no! I'm not tanking pugs, fuck that. So anyway, just getting some, well, refreshing my food buff, because I already had one, but I didn't know how long this dungeon would be, so decided to refresh it. Put up my augment rune from War Within because it's a little bit, every little bit helps, right? And I was waiting for the pull timer to put on the flask. I don't know why. I wasn't planning on doing another dungeon after this, but I figured make it last as long as possible. Maybe use it tomorrow. 4, I don't know.
3, 2, 1.
So here we go. Maisara is probably one of the harder dungeons, I would say, this season. I need to turn on the volume a bit, holy hell, so I can hear myself think. So yeah, first pull here is usually a big one. Sometimes the tank goes splat, so I was a little bit nervous. Here I'm popping my trinket, getting ready for damage, popping my cooldown, and a potion just to be safe. I always prefer to be extra safe with this pull. I've seen so many pulls where this goes really badly. The main guy I'm focusing here, he's pretty much the most dangerous one of this pack. He does healing absorb on everyone, which you can't really avoid, you just have to heal it up. And he spawns these puddles on the ground that you have to avoid. And that's pretty much what kills most people with this, is the healing absorb debuff followed by those pools. So as long as you keep moving, stay out of those, it should be fine. Other than that, nothing really too interesting here. Yeah, as you can see from the damage meter, me and the Warlock are doing a pretty good job. I'm not sure what the Hunter was doing, although it does look like he's a Beastmaster, which I didn't notice until now.
Another bag of coin for Muji.
Yeah, so first part of this dungeon you have to sort of rescue 8 prisoners before the first boss spawns, so we're pretty much moving our way around. And in this pack we also have the first caster mobs, which are these mobs that constantly cast shadow bolts. And occasionally they do a hex on a random player, which can be deadly if they go on a healer. You also have this totem mob here, which can do quite a bit chunk of damage. He does like frontal targeting on one player, and everyone in that direction will be hit. He does these things on the ground, and yeah. A lot of stuff is just don't stand in stuff on the ground, avoid frontals. The trash can be bad depending on the group, but this was a pretty solid group. So the plan here was to go into this hut, which there is a damage buff in this hut. Both sides you can go to in this first half have a different hut with a different damage buff, but the tank wanted to go this way, so we went this way. And this is another pop everything and just destroy everything. I tried to interrupt that guy and I got hexed for it, so it's not too bad. The healer was quick on the dispel, so could have been worse. Yeah, I was just like trying to focus on that guy in case he did the hex again, and kind of messing up my damage. So I think, yeah, in the end I just decided to interrupt him just to get him into the group. I could always just stun him and stuff instead. Yeah, not much really going on with this group. It's a pretty simple group. I'm always trying to keep an eye on the tank's health as well, just in case I need to put out a sacrifice on them. Yeah, and here we're getting our buffs, which didn't work for me the first. Oh, I interrupted it too early. Well, it got interrupted. I didn't even move, so I had to do it twice. Yeah, it's like a 30-minute damage buff, so it's definitely worth picking up because it will last for the rest of the dungeon. Maybe not so much in normal and heroic, but at least for Mythic Plus, it's worth picking up. And this trash pack can be a bit dangerous. You have this mob that's mounted on a mammoth here, and he does something called Deafening Roar, which if you're casting while that cast goes off, you will be silenced, which can be really deadly to healers. And it does a lot of damage, so I popped the defensive just before it. I do believe, yeah, there goes the second one, and you'll see here, I believe someone dies here. Yeah, the healer dies. So now we're just keeping ourselves alive. I sacked the monk, so he doesn't have to worry that much, and then we just focus on killing this big guy as soon as possible before he gets off another one. Yeah, this far in and only one death is not bad for Maisara, I'll tell you that.
My eagle spy with her shiny eyes? A trespasser, an interloper.
So now the boss is spawned, he's yelling in the background, so we still need to do some trash because, you know, we need a certain amount. So, and yeah, nothing too special with this pack. We still got the casters with the hexes all over this area. So, and I don't know if that was accidental or not, but we got a path that came in and got pulled, but it's no big deal. The path is no big deal, so we just sort of pulled it in and started AoEing it. And as a red paladin, I have cooldown every 30 seconds, so. And the warlock has every minute, I believe, from the little bit I played on mine this expansion. So now we're coming up to the last pull before the boss, and we have another one of those healing absorb guys in this pack, along with the hex casting mobs, and another one that does a shrink on the player, which does an insane amount of damage if not interrupted. And I do believe if the cast finishes without insane healing, you're just dead. Yeah, it's on me here, right here, so I almost die. But yeah, I use blinding light to try and get it interrupted at least. Yeah, we're just dancing around trying to avoid standing and stuff. The thing about Mythic Plus, you gotta do whatever you can to make the healers have an easier time, because they're gonna be the most stressed person in a Mythic Plus dungeon. So yeah, we're just finishing the last mob here, which is a really annoying mob because it keeps disengaging like a freaking hunter in PvP or something. I don't know if the hunters still do that a lot in PvP, but so yeah, we got the first boss, Murojin, I believe his name is. He's sort of like a hunter with a pet. He has a giant bird there to help him. He does a few things. He does freezing traps, which should be coming up. And then, if you stand in those, you'll get stunned for a few seconds, and then they break and cause a giant frost trap on the ground. As you can see there, the bird will charge someone and do a big AoE. Don't stand in these because they hurt, followed by a barrage, which will do a lot of damage towards a certain player and will put a slow debuff on people. The bird will also do a target a person and do a charge, like a really hard charge, where you have to run into a frost trap, get frozen, and then have the bird basically go straight into it. So it sort of breaks it open. So yeah, the frost traps do have a purpose. You want to try to keep the bosses sort of even here, especially as you go up in Mythic Plus, because when the first boss dies, the bird will sort of enrage. Like, it's not like a hard enrage, but a soft enrage will do a lot more damage. So you wanna, yeah, try to keep them even. We did have the hunter die, followed directly by the warlock. So we're down a player right now, but we're still going. We got the hunter back up, obviously, but so we didn't have a rest for the warlock. Sadly, we have another one in about 30 seconds, but I do believe other stuff happens before then. Nice barrage again. The most annoying thing about this boss is he jumps around a lot, so usually I try to focus him and just not use Divine Storm, because that hits multiple targets, sort of always cleaving. But I do try to keep an eye on the bird's health as it gets closer to the end of the fight. Like here, I probably should, here I start swapping. And here I'm trying to avoid, I am always in the range of the barrage, I swear. So here I do something stupid. I stand way too close to the bird, I get hit, and I get killed. So at this point, all I can do is basically watch.
If I don't get ya, Necrax will.
So I should have run a bit further away from the bird there. Red Paladins have really good range, so you can attack from, you're pretty much a half ranged, which is really good.
And I rescued all that was still alive.
Here I do something stupid. I accidentally clicked my Divine Steed when I was trying to click on my food buff.
Follow me.
So it ends up cancelling my food just before the door opens, which is really annoying. If not, I would have had food buff up again, but oh well.
And the energy flowing into it.
So yeah, we're going into the caverns, and we start pulling this, I have a big pull here, with this big green guy, a couple of casters, and sort of like a mini boss. The casters have to be interrupted as much as possible, because they do a really nasty dot on a random party member, which can really overwhelm the healer, so I try to focus them as much as I can. Big green guy puts these green circles on the ground, which stay up for quite a long time, or until he's killed, and here I almost get myself killed. Luckily I get an iron bark from the healer. And the mini-boss, he does a sacrifice thing where he puts a random person on the altar, and they stay there until, well, there's basically like a small little ad you have to kill before you can get off, or you'll constantly take ticking damage. Here I just decided to run around because I didn't want to accidentally pull anything on the sides. So yeah, this mini boss is actually kind of annoying, because he also does that purple whirly thing that slowly pulls you in the whole time it's up, and here I am about to get sacrificed. But I had my cooldown, well, not my cooldowns, I had some procs there, so... Red Paladins are very proc based, it feels like. If I get a lot of procs, I can do like a ton of damage very easily, but if I don't, I feel like I'm hitting like a wet noodle.
It'd be worse than we thought. How many of my people
Yes,
have
this
died
room
here?
has the potential to be very dangerous if people just pull willy-nilly. This tank seemed to know what he was doing, so... You never know what you get in pugs, and this pug surprised me. Here we are with the caster ads again. Also this big ad does like a frontal shield, and he also spawns these really annoying tornadoes, which I hate. I've done this dungeon quite a few times because there's a few pieces I need from it, but those tornadoes are the bane of my existence. More on that later when we get to the bridge. Oh yeah, also when some of these ads die, they start casting a certain cast, and if they're allowed to finish that cast, they will resurrect. So just interrupt, stun, disorient, knockback, anything you can do to stop that cast. Also, you have these tiny little ghosts all over this area that slows you if you get into contact with them, which is really annoying. Here you have the big mob that does like a frost nova on a random target, and it does a cast that has to be interrupted or AoE damage to the party. And also a lot of these ads in this second half of the dungeon has come with a shield on them, and when that shield breaks, there's a lot of AoE damage to the group. Funny thing you can do, although I wouldn't recommend doing that in a high mythic plus, you can arcane torrent that absorbs shield straight off, which makes all the damage come out instantly, and I've seen that happen before, and it can almost kill you. Probably could if you go higher. It's funny though. Yeah, pretty much all the mobs from here on out are basically the same. Just casters with annoying debuff and these big mobs, which, yeah. See the ring of peace going out there from the monk, so he can interrupt some of the mobs that were casting after dying. Yeah, we skip a few mobs just because we don't need to kill them. And on to the next pack. This is a weird one because there's one mob in this pack that is one of those casting hex mobs, and for some reason they're in this pack. It's like the only one I've seen in this entire downstairs area. But yeah, I usually target them because most people focus on the big ones, so. In case I haven't mentioned it yet, the giant shadow orbs you see every now and then comes from the Salatat affix, which you absorb them, you get some increase to your stats and leech, I believe, for like 30 seconds, which is a really good buff, and it stacks up 5 times, so. I'm not sure if the buffs are class or spec specific, because I know for a Ret Paladin I get Mastery. I haven't really looked into other classes because I'm not sure if I'm gonna bother doing Mythic Plus with other classes yet. So this is the last trash pack before the boss. Here I go and activate the RP, because she does like a tiny little RP before she becomes active. Just nice to have that active by when you go to pull her. And this is honestly my least favorite boss in this dungeon. So what this boss does, she does quite a few things. Once we're done with this pack, you'll see. She does a thing which summons 4 ads that fixates players, and if they touch you, they'll explode. So what you want to do, you want to try to get them to walk into each other, so they all still explode, but towards each other, so that's less damage overall in the group, and you'll get rid of them. Also,
Make them suffer.
they leave behind puddles on the ground, so that's a bit annoying. So here, you see I'm fixated with an ad, so I try to get it into another ad as soon as possible. Before this, because she also does this little breath thing that she sort of does like a half circle with, and that killed the hunter there, so luckily the rest of Druid is really quick with the battle rushes. I could not get to a single one. Yeah, that overlap can be quite dangerous. You have to get the ads done as soon as possible. Here comes the second set of ads. So here I wasn't quite sure which way to go, so I just... Yeah, this one got a bit messy. But no one died, so that was good. And here she jumps in the middle, gets an absorb shield, and starts channeling AoE damage. So you just want to burst down that shield and interrupt her as soon as possible. And then that's the whole fight. A simple fight overall, but it can get quite messy if people don't really deal with the spirits fast enough. And we were just lucky we got that done before the AoE phase started. Then we got spirits again. Yeah, if it wasn't a plus 10, the boss would be way dead right now, but you know, tyrannical makes bosses last a little longer. She also does like a drained soul, which I believe is a tank thing, because I've never seen it hit me, so... I'm no expert on these dungeons, I just say what I've noticed. I don't really watch guides or anything. I never, even when I used to do mythic raiding, I never really watched guides. Because I learn more by doing the thing myself. A bit messy right there with the spirits, but boss is down. Only one death, which is not bad.
There still be many angry souls.
So here the tank went around the corner to pull these, which I've never seen anyone do before, so that was interesting. And we pull them to this group, which can be quite dangerous, because you got 2 casters and a bunch of mobs with the absorb shield that explodes. So of course I use my cooldowns. I started tab targeting to try and get to the caster mobs, which probably wasn't the best idea, but I was a bit nervous at this point because we were so close to the end and I really wanted to get the plus 10 done in time, so... So this bridge is quite dangerous to see those exploding things going across the bridge. Those deal, if you stand on those, you take a lot of damage. So a lot of groups tend to pull mobs to the side like this. Oh, and they will pull the bat as well. There's bats flying around the edges, which you can pull in for a bit more percentage, but most of the time they get pulled by accident. And they're really annoying to deal with. This is not the last group, but still just doing the same, focusing the casters. Trying to kill those as fast as possible, so to minimize the stress on the healer. Well, he seems to be doing fine. His mana is pretty much full at this point, so he seems to be cruising. Yeah, see, sometimes he even goes into cat form and just chills in cat form. Just does damage.
Let its darkness fill you.
Which I really like that healers have the option to do damage now. I mean, I just came back not long ago after like been gone from the game for like 8 years, so it's nice to see all the changes. So yeah, we're a bit low on percent here, so we pulled this trash. which is gonna put us up to 99, I believe. But yeah, about the tornadoes on this bridge, as I said. Oh, there goes the healer, and he released because we're very close to the stone anyway. Yeah, the tornadoes can actually knock you over the railing and instant kill you, which is, I found out the hard way. Yep. Luckily it was not in the Mythic Plus, it was just in a... It was either in a Mythic dungeon or in a Heroic, I do not remember. I've been doing these dungeons a lot, so it's all kind of a blur. So yeah, now we're pretty much done with Trash. There's one mob left right before the boss, which is a drummer, which causes all these shockwaves. And he actually does the same amount of AoE damage once he's pulled, as you can see. I almost die here. If I didn't Word of Glory myself, I probably would have died. So here we were, at the last boss, 8 minutes left. And we go in instantly because the healer was fine. Bloodlust get popped, we pop all my cooldowns, and we just go to town. This boss, he does attack on the tank, which causes a giant void zone. The tank put it in the corner, which was really good. He does a lot of these puddles on the ground, so you constantly have to be aware of those. And he marks 3 players, which he does like a charge, a jump like this. He jumps 3 times and spawns an ad from every single one, which slowly starts pulling a random player in, so those have to die as soon as possible. So usually the best to try to stack them up as close together as you can. And here I get targeted and we stand this close together because you also don't want to get hit by every jump. And I almost died there when I should have used the defensive, but I didn't really do that. So I'm just trying to kill the ads while I'm also slowly getting pulled by one of the ads, which is really annoying. And here we go into the intermission phase where he pushes us all the way at the start of the bridge and spawns these ads with in bubbles. Now each of these ads, when you interrupt them in some way, they give you a damage and a healing buff. So ideally you want to interrupt all of them. So Red Paladins can easily interrupt 3 of them. You get stun, you get an interrupt, and you get blinding light, and Hand of Freedom actually allows you to instantly run through the shields without being slowed. So Red Paladins are actually very good for that part. So here the damage is taking increased damage. The boss is also taking increased damage here, I believe, so we're just making the best of it. And now we're back to the start. So there's not much more for me to say here, so I'm just gonna leave you to watch the rest of this, and thank you all for watching. Until next time.
the creature dead and the vile branch gone, we with the bark all be sleeping a little safer. For now, we will always be looking over our shoulders at the vile branch. Come back with me. The chief be having a reward for you.